The 169th is doing our yearly deployment for training in Israel. We are constructing multi-purpose facilities. Deployment for training is an opportunity for the National Guard or Air National Guard troops to perform construction activities. DFT program was actually established to allow civil engineers to train for the deployed environment. It gives them an opportunity to hone on their construction skills and to perform within expeditionary environments. Typically during home station mission, during UTAs, we don't get the opportunity to perform A-for-C specific training. We typically will do work orders here and there, but they aren't as extensive as during deployment for trainings. Our folks here typically do larger scale projects, cradle to grave, and it gives them good experience to take home and use on a day-to-day basis. Cradle to grave, pretty much from start to finish. Deployment for training, one of the attributes is to give our folks a sense of how it is to deploy, from pre-deployment training all the way through getting on to the middle air aircraft, flying over and working in somewhat of a contingency environment. The biggest thing that I would say is skills, experience, and then also the ability to work in joint environments. When we typically do a deployment for training overseas, it's with a host nation, different nationality, or a NATO country, and we learn the skills and trades of that country and their armed forces, so that when we actually deploy in contingency environments, we understand what they can bring to the table and the same thing for them. The work that's being done on site here it's a large-scale, multi-purpose facility. Typically, the Air National Guard doesn't take on such a large project in such a short amount of time. Talking about some major facilities that are being built, all the way from piers to footings, concrete slabs, reinforced concrete walls, steel joists, roofing, and electrical systems. It's a major project that takes typically a long time to do, and we're here to expedite the mission and get it accomplished. Typically on the DFT, well, for starters, the DFT is also source reportable. We are required to do some kind of construction project every 24 months, and it is part of our source reportable item. Due to the large amount of construction that typically occurs in a deployment for training, each unit will typically deploy for plus minus 15 to 20 days, depending on where it is, with the realization that your crew isn't going to be able to fully complete the project. They typically add multiple rotations within the DFT to allow for planning and execution throughout completion. We have 40 169th Prime BEEF personnel on site. There are 16 Navy SEABEES and 9 Red Horse from the 200th. When the 169th flew in the first day on site, the project was probably about 3 weeks behind due to material delivery delay and contract issues. We set our goals. The first week, the 169th met all the goals and expectations set forth. We have set new goals for the new week. They are they're going to be tough goals to attain, but I have no doubt that our folks will meet those goals and be successful. We probably won't be able to get the project caught up, but we'll definitely be able to sustain the goals and the schedule as it is now. It's a very large project. Typically on DFTs, the projects are a lot smaller and more attainable, but this is a very high visible project that we're actually performing for U.S. Army Europe. So typically when Prime BEEF deploys, Prime BEEF is kind of geared towards sustainment operations, but in past deployments, we've actually morphed in with Army, Navy, Red Horse squadrons to perform one mission. It is key for our guys to understand what those other branches of service and Red Horse, which is part of Air Force engineers, bring to the table, and to learn it in an environment where we aren't in contingency operations, to where we don't have the stress of other factors, and we can gear this deployment more on training and learning the joint capabilities. So each component brings different attributes and different skills to the table. Like I was saying, prime beef is more geared towards sustainment. We typically don't construct large, heavy construction like the SEABEES and the Red Horse folks do. We go to the same training as Red Horse, but due to manpower and equipment sets, we're geared more to sustainment. So it's definitely a great learning environment for our folks to work next to other branches and Red Horse to learn the skills needed to be able to actually perform this type of construction. I would say probably the biggest thing when it comes to construction is flexibility. Working as a team and being able to integrate as one force instead of three separate forces, as in the case of Prime Beef, Red Horse, and SEABEES. Efficiency is at best when you guys integrate as a team.
With the Navy and the Red Horse, the joint environment, everybody brings something to the table. You have everybody's different point of views and perspectives, and it all comes together, shares the knowledge, and shows different ways to do stuff. All the stuff that we're doing out here is stuff that they teach in a classroom, but you don't actually get the whole work experience by actually getting hands-on. All the skills and knowledge that I've learned, I can apply it out here on the work site and show everyone what I can do. I'm gaining experience trying to help out the Air Force, the Air National Guard, and my unit. And with the knowledge that I'm obtaining out here, I can carry with me throughout my career. I guess the satisfaction at the end of the day, when everything is all complete, you can stand back and look at your progression as far as what your day has accomplished, or your mission has accomplished.
Basically what we're doing is we're building four 10,000 square foot buildings to be used for multi-purposes for the Israelis and also I believe us in the possible future. But with Prime Beef, it's just good to working with other guys that are willing to work hard and get the job done. The team's doing very well. Everybody's working together and progress is being made. Sometimes working towards goals are a bit complicated because we'll have a set plan for the day, and then halfway through the day the plan will change, so we have to undo sometimes what we've done. But overall we still end up getting the project done for the day on time and everything, so just have to work a little faster and a little harder.
Right now our role is to support the Red Horse and Prime Beef through equipment operations. It's one team, one fight, obviously. That's what we're told, and that's what we're trained. So it's definitely helping the project move along. There are different things, good and bad, obviously, but most everything that I can think of is good. Joint operation is definitely the best thing. It's actually been a really good experience working with the Air Force, Prime Beef especially. We're going through the motions, getting the job done. They come out different rotations, and then it's up to us to keep the continuity between the different rotations and what's going on. And everyone's been pretty receptive. For us, this is a multi-million-dollar project. This is huge. This is probably the biggest job site that any of my guys have ever seen at one time. It's good stuff for our guys to know. It's all a learning experience. Everything's a learning experience here.